Hello, my name is Zachary Kepler and I will be covering advancements made in hand prosthetics. So, I chose the topic of hand prosthetics because it is something that has been a part of my life in the past, and the future of hand prosthetics may allow me to do things that I have been unable to do. As a child, I had a body-powered prosthetic hand that would allow me to perform a small number of tasks. The image on the right is similar to the prosthetic hand I had. I was never a big fan of the prosthetic, and it wasn't the most useful tool to me as a child. Overall, the prosthetic was impractical, and it was just a hassle. So, the design and function of a prosthetic hand is to mimic that of a biological hand. The biological hand is a very detailed and complex body part that allows humans to perform a countless number of activities. The typical prosthetic hand allows for the wearer to open and close the hand to grab and hold items. The image on the right demonstrates the most common and basic function, which is opening and closing the hand. As for the history of hand prosthetics, they have been around for centuries. There are records showing prosthetics were being used back in 600 BC. However, the design for hand prosthetics in 600 BC to the early Renaissance period was basic. Prosthetics of this time period were typically used to cover up deformities and other imperfections. The first image is of a wooden hand that was attached to the arm using a strap, and its purpose was purely as a placeholder. In 1508, a German soldier by the name of Gotz von Berchlingen created a metal prosthetic hand for his right arm. This prosthetic hand allowed him to close and open the hand by using inputs from the elbow. The prosthetic hand can be seen in the second image. Other prosthetics from centuries ago were all custom made and typically allowed a limited number of functions. The third image shows a prosthetic that had multiple attachments allowing the wearer to perform basic tasks such as eating or hammering. There is not a whole lot of options out on the market for prosthetic hands nowadays, but there are a couple designs that are popular. One of the current designs is body-powered prosthetics, which is powered from other body parts. As I stated earlier, this was the prosthetic design that I used, and it was simple and durable due to its basic design. Body-powered prosthetic hands function based off of a cable and strap system. The strap would go around the opposing arm's shoulder, and a cable would run from said arm to the prosthetic. In order to activate the prosthetic, the wearer must move the arm that the strap is around. Doing this would close the hand. By doing these movements, the wearer is able to open and close the prosthetic hand, allowing them to grab and hold items. Some downsides to this design include limited functionality, it is expensive, and it required somewhat awkward movements in order to operate. Another current prosthetic hand technology is brain-controlled prosthetics, which use inputs from the brain. Electrical signals sent from the brain are read by the computer in the prosthetic, and it will determine the movements to make based off of those. There are many problems with brain-controlled prosthetics that are currently available, and the most important flaw is that the prosthetic is not directly connected to the brain. Since it is not directly connected, the signals the computer receives tends to be inaccurate. Aside from that issue, the design is large and heavy, and since it is mainly composed of electronics, it is not very durable. Water can easily damage and destroy the prosthetic, and these prosthetics are unsurprisingly very expensive. Along with the design and structure, this prosthetic unit also needs a large and constant amount of electricity to operate. The future of prosthetic hands lies within myoelectric technology, otherwise known as EMG. With this design, the brain sends EMG signals to the nerves in the arm that are read using sensors. The sensors translate the signals and decide what hand movement to make. A technique called targeted muscle reinnervation will allow for nerves to be relocated to more ideal spots in the arm to get better EMG readings. There are very early concepts and prototypes for this technology now, but that will change with time. To conclude, through time and constant innovation, myoelectric prosthetic design will become the standard and prosthetic hand technologies will be more affordable. In the future, thousands of people will regain functionality to their bodies with new prosthetic hand technology. It is believed that future prosthetic hands will perform on par with a biological human hand. Thank you, and these are my references.